this shift from secondary to post-secondary, it's a big one. And in post-secondary school, there's an increased amount of responsibility on your shoulders, and having both those strong independent skills and those strong work habits, it's super helpful. And it's definitely shaped who I am today and the work that I produce today.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
One of the things about Albert that I appreciated the most was definitely the level of inclusiveness that, like, you could see. I think as soon as I walked through the door, the amount of close knit, like the community is really close knit, and therefore like it's hard to be isolated, and so you're always included in everything, and there's always also stuff to do, and that like challenging stuff for you to do that like really pushes your horizons, pushes your boundaries in terms of like what I was maybe in grade 8, and then how like the transformation I made in high school at Albert. That's what I think what I appreciate most about it. I think the aspects that really differentiates the school from like other schools is that the size of the community and how like closely knit everybody is at the school. Everyone generally knows everybody, and with all those connections that we made, there's just a deeper sense of community, I think, within Albert College than some other schools. One of the main character traits it would have would be like leader, in terms of like it's a school that is very focused on producing people that are comfortable with leading groups and stuff like that, and not even if you aren't, you become something like that. And then in terms of another one, maybe like focused, it's a very focused school, not only on academics but on everything else. And I think with that I could say like diverse, in terms of like we have boarding students, we have day students, and not only is it diverse in the social aspect, but it's also diverse in the opportunities it can provide to the students. With so many students coming from so many different backgrounds at Albert College, it's the common experience like within like at Albert that everybody kind of you connect with, because although you're all different and you all came from different spots, the common experience that I think that the connection between those students is built upon like a general sense of belongingness to the school. Like I belong here, and like they want me here, and the relationships that are built upon that sense of belongingness, that's what connects the students. I believe that the school's values surround the idea of like being yourself, but while also having that option to open yourself up and try new things. You at Albert, you don't need to stay. I'll say it probably again, but staying in your comfort zone at Albert is good, and it's easy to do, but it's also easy to get out of your comfort zone and do something that you might not have done before, and that'll be big for you. It's not only centered around education. Albert College's values, like they work towards making each and every student everything that they can be. It's not about letting students, they're not letting them, but not about letting students do whatever they want, you know? Like there's lots of stuff to do and lots of opportunities. I was still very into sports when I got there in grade 10. And I had never even played with the idea of entering into a musical. And then I met a group of friends at Albert that like kind of were like, oh, like we have a musical every year. And I was like, oh, like I've never done that sort of thing. And then I slotted in, I got like one of the big roles, and it was like something I'd never done before, but it was definitely something that I found surprising about the school, that like opportunities were there for me to do that, even if it wasn't even on my radar when I went to that school. The independence that I got from being at Albert, definitely, like, it's not like a normal public school where like I'm interacting with these people that are like away from their homes. And that in a sense made me a little bit more independent, because I realized that like these kids are away from their parents for 8 months of the year. Like, not sometimes I'm not away for that long, but also I think I can be more independent as like someone who's growing up. And also the foundational work habits I think that I learned there definitely were big in shaping who I am today. First year, I was definitely like at the start, like as soon as I got to the school, I was definitely a little more reserved and wasn't like interested. I remember my first day and like hearing all the opportunities, and I got really, really overwhelmed. And I remember going home and just being like, I don't know if it's for me. It's just like a lot going on, and I don't know if I can keep track of it all. And I don't know if I can really do that. But I think the thing that makes the experience better is stepping into that. And I think what could have made my experience definitely at the start better is like a little more fearlessness, and like maybe close your eyes and just take a step, and then see where it gets you. And I think another thing that definitely could have made my experience a little bit better, but not in any control of Albert, is COVID, and that like the 2 out of 3 years that I was there, definitely coronavirus played like a pretty big role. Restricted activities and many other aspects of that, like the quintessential Albert life that I had that had been like displayed to me before I went, and like they were like, oh, like come to Albert and this is this, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. But then some of that stuff obviously like it had to be tailed back. But yeah, I think making my experience better definitely falls on the person's shoulders as much as it does the students, or as much as it does the schools. At the beginning, I was certainly taken aback with the increased amount of opportunities and such compared to what I was used to. But as I grew and as I developed within the school and like within those schools' activities and opportunities, I think I became more comfortable, and I started to see the school as less of just a place I went to school and more as like a true guiding hand in my journey to post-secondary. And now I look back at the school and like check in on things that have been going on with the school, and I'm like, oh, like that helped me a lot, but I don't think I recognized that helped me a lot. Like those opportunities that I see the students there now doing, I'm like, oh, like when I did that, I just thought of it as like, oh, it's just like another activity that I need to do. But it actually helped me a lot with not only like the actual activity, but also just like time management and stuff like that. So that's definitely how my perspective has like evolved over time. I think the small school and what it provides in terms of personal growth is something that I would recommend, like why I would recommend it. I think maybe another route would have to do with the 5As and how the whole school is united on the 5As. Not like when you get there, it's not hard to buy into the 5As. So because the 5As are there at every corner you turn, you're like, oh, like athletics, arts, active citizenship, it's all there. Academics, it's all there. And I think that would be a reason to pursue Albert. A last reason for recommending the school to other families would be the role it plays in your life after you leave. And you don't see that a lot in public high schools where people are like, oh, like, yeah, like I remember when I went there and like it was that lots of people try to forget that period of their life, but I think the Albert College is definitely something that sticks with you for the rest of your life. The experience at Albert College, as much as it is definitely for your son or your daughter, um, I think it even more so is for you. It's for the whole family. In addition to just like the school day and the learning that happens, there are many events that the whole family can be a part of and volunteer in and attend at the school, whether it be like a sports game that your student is playing in, a musical or a play, like I said, that like your students performing in, or even just like a social event. Like there's lots of especially as the weather gets nicer, there's lots of social events that lots of families come to, and that's definitely, it makes the school a, a more tight knit community due to like not only are the students there, but and the students are interacting with each other, but those different parents are interacting with each other, which is just makes the school just like one big community. I would say that the most important piece of advice that I could give to any new students at Albert College is to, uh, like I said, is to not be afraid to immerse yourself in the school. Um, the school has so much to offer, like it's immediately off the bat, and by keeping your schedule like relatively full and meeting all of those new people that there are to meet and doing all those things that interest you, even if it interests you a little bit, you should go out, experience it even just once, and then if you don't like it, try something else, because there's always something else. Or if you do like it, stay in, and then you can do also something else. There's lots of time management definitely becomes a big part of your time in Albert because there's lots to do, but it's definitely possible to keep it all in. And I think if you do that, the transition into the school's kind of tight knit will definitely be seamless, and like you won't have any issues with coming into the Albert College community and calling it your own one.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.